All right, so today we're diving into Royal Leamington Spa. Now, this is a town right in the heart of England that's got this reputation for being, well, pretty posh and elegant. But here's the thing, once you start to peel back the layers, you find this absolutely wild history. We're talking bizarre legends, top secret missions, and innovations that literally changed the world. So let's get into it. When you picture Leamington, what comes to mind? Probably something like this, right? Gorgeous Georgian and Victorian buildings, those grand royal pump rooms. It was a super fashionable spa town back in the day. I mean, Queen Victoria herself loved the place. She's the one who gave it the royal title way back in 1838. It's just the absolute picture of high society and good health. But like I said, that's only half the story. That pristine, elegant image, it doesn't quite line up with one of the town's most bizarre and long-lasting legends. So you have to ask, what on earth were elephants doing in its river? Yep, you heard that right. Let's kick off this little tour of hidden histories with, well, Leamington's most unusual bathers. Okay, so this story is fascinating because it's got two sides to it, the local legend and then the hard facts. So for generations, people in town have told the story of this famous circus trainer, Sam Lockhart. The legend goes he'd walk his elephants, known as the Three Graces, down to the River Lean to give them a good wash. You can actually still see this ramp that everyone calls the Elephant Wash. And for decades, that's all it was, a charming local myth. But then, in 2015, everything changed. Some construction workers digging in a garden on Warwick New Road found, you guessed it, real elephant bones. Suddenly, the rumor wasn't just a rumor anymore. It was proof that at least one elephant had ended its days in Leamington, thousands of miles from where it belonged. All right, so moving on from local folklore, we're diving into some pretty serious, closely guarded national secrets. It turns out the town's royal connection has a much darker and more dramatic side to it, tied directly to World War II. Here we have the statue of Queen Victoria, standing right outside the town hall since 1902. It's a big, proud monument to the queen who put the royal in Royal Leamington Spa. And you know, thousands of people walk past this thing every single day, and I bet almost none of them have any idea about its hidden secret. See, the secret isn't what the statue is, it's where it sits. Back in November 1940, the very same night as the horrific Coventry Blitz, a stray German bomb went off nearby. The explosion was so powerful that it physically shifted this massive statue several inches on its base. And the crazy part? They never moved it back. It's still sitting there, just a little bit off-center, a quiet, almost invisible monument to the night the war crashed into Leamington. But believe me, the town's role in the war was so much more than just taking a hit from a bomb. For starters, from 1939, the big, fancy Regent Hotel was secretly the headquarters for something called the Civil Defense Camouflage Establishment. This was where the top minds in the country figured out how to hide entire factories and airfields from enemy bombers. But it gets even more intense. Leamington was also the official base for the Free Czechoslovakian Army, and it was right here, from this quiet spa town, that a team launched Operation Anthropoid, one of the gutsiest, most high-stakes missions of the entire war. The assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, a top Nazi official, and a man Hitler was eyeing as his successor. Just wow. Okay, so the town secrets aren't all about wartime heroics. Leamington was also the birthplace of, well, a figure of pure infamy. We're about to take a sharp turn from the battlefield into the world of the occult. I'm talking about Aleister Crowley. He was born right here in 1875 at number 30 Clarendon Square. This guy would go on to become world famous, or maybe infamous, as a ceremonial magician and occultist. He absolutely leaned into his sinister reputation, and he loved it when the papers called him the Great Beast, or the wickedest man in Britain. Now, Crowley's link to Leamington didn't just stop with being born there. There's this local legend, a piece of folklore, that says later in his life he actually placed a curse on the entire town. The curse? Anyone born in Leamington would find it impossible to ever truly escape. It's a pretty chilling bit of local myth, especially when it's tied to such a real and really controversial person. Okay, let's shake off that dark and mystical vibe and pivot to something completely different. Because this town also had a pretty shocking role in creating one of the world's most popular sports. So when you think about the history of tennis, your mind probably jumps straight to Wimbledon, right? Well, guess what? The world's very first lawn tennis club wasn't in London at all. It was formed right here in Leamington way back in 1872. That's a full 5 years before Wimbledon even had its first championship. And Leamington didn't just help start the sport, it produced one of its very first superstars. Check this out. We're looking at the record for the most consecutive men's singles titles at Wimbledon. And right at the top is a Leamington local, William Renshaw. He won it 6 times in a row between 1881 and 1886. To put that into perspective, that incredible winning streak, 6 in a row, has never been beaten. Not by Borg, not by Federer, not by anyone. It's a record that stood for well over a century. Okay, so this brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. We're going to connect this incredible, innovative past to the Leamington of today. You'll see how this long history of forward thinking really shaped its modern identity. This legacy of innovation, it really runs deep here. I mean, think about it. Back in the 19th century, the Royal Pump Rooms had the world's first ever gravity-fed piped hot water system. Then, in the 20th century, a young guy named Frank Whittle, you might know him as Sir Frank Whittle, the inventor of the jet engine, was learning his trade in his dad's workshop right here in town. And now, today, in the 21st century, that same spirit is alive and well, earning the town a new nickname, Silicon Spa. And look, Silicon Spa isn't just a catchy name, it's a massive economic reality. Leamington is now home to the UK's biggest hub for video game companies outside of London. We're talking over 80 studios, with industry giants like Ubisoft, Playground Games, and Codemasters employing thousands of people. It's incredible, really. From healing spa waters to creating entire digital worlds, this town has just never stopped reinventing itself. So let's just recap for a second. We've covered bathing elephants, top-secret wartime missions, an occultist curse, and the actual birth of lawn tennis. It just goes to show you, even the most polished, respectable-looking places can have the absolute wildest histories imaginable. And that really leaves you with one last question to chew on. If a single, elegant spa town is hiding all of this, what incredible secrets are waiting to be found right in your own backyard?